According to a Sports Illustrated article, Mason Rudolph is expected to sign back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll explore all of that. Also, why we shouldn't put too much stock into that report card, that survey that was handed out yesterday by the NFL Players Association ranking NFL teams. And one of Pittsburgh's finest sports broadcaster finally hangs it up after 30 seasons. Welcome back to Mic Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's talk about all this Steelers stuff going on, maybe even a little bit of combine talk. After last night's live show, what a show it was. We talked about some of this stuff and we really dove in deep on things. But man, that was a great show. You guys really came and brought the fire inside of the chat. It was a great show. But let's dive into everything that I brought up there in the intro. And let's dive in first to that Mason Rudolph talk. There's several articles out there that are expecting Mason Rudolph to be back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now rumors are starting to have it that it's going to be for around that $5 to $7 million per season range. That's where I predicted it to be, and I'm not sure if I'll be right. I'm not sure if even these articles will be right, and I think it's going to be dependent on how this free agency market plays out. But also, guys, I don't want you guys to get your hopes up for Mason Rudolph to make his return, because there are other articles out there that contradict him coming back, saying that he is going to have offers from other teams, that he is going to be able to play in the free agency market. And that's something he didn't have last season when he made his return to the Pittsburgh Steelers to stand behind Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky as the third string quarterback option. Mason Rudolph proved himself to be a very serviceable guy. Is he right now the absolute 1,000% franchise guy moving forward? We don't know. Maybe not. Maybe so. We don't know. Mason Rudolph, played his way into deserving a chance to be a guy somewhere, and that may not even be with the Pittsburgh Steelers. In my eyes, I feel like with the way the quarterback landscape is playing out across the NFL right now as we sit, I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers would possibly be the best bet for Mason Rudolph to obtain a starting role. And there's several factors I put into that. One being familiarity. Two being that other players on the roster for the Pittsburgh Steelers seem to back him. He seems to have some backing by the management in some areas. There are guys that are behind Kenny Pickett and that are choosing Kenny Pickett to be their guy, but that is, there's a little bit of a divide there. Also, like I said, the familiarity with the playbook, with the way things are going to move. And I know Arthur Smith is in place and that the playbook will change. But still, Mason still has that familiarity with the offense and how it operates. And you're still going to have a lot of the same players, so it's going to operate kind of similar in that way. Yes, the scheme is going to change, but Mason is familiar. And then you have Mason Rudolph has been a consummate pro throughout his 6 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers and has never been a true distraction. There was one incident, but we have swept that under the rug and determined that it really wasn't what that other player was making it out to be. Excuse me. But the Pittsburgh Steelers find themselves in a little bit of a spot here with one quarterback remaining on the roster, and that being Kenny Pickett. He is the lone guy, and a lot of people in that building are putting all their chips on the table to bet on Kenny Pickett growing and improving. So the Steelers may not go into 2024 with a true clear-cut guy, a true clear-cut answer. But if Mason Rudolph is rumored to come back in and say he does sign for that $5 to $7 million range, I think that is a good deal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That gives them even some security if you're going to trot out a failing Kenny Pickett on week 1 of the 2024 season. That gives you a little bit of security knowing that you have a quarterback on the roster that your players trust and that your coaching staff trusts, that he can still go out there and win some ball games if the situation dictates. But the true test will be at Latrobe when the Pittsburgh Steelers head to training camp. And will Mason Rudolph get that shot if he's returned? Will he even have a chance to be able to be a competitor for that spot, for that starting position? I think that there will be. I think Kenny Pickett proved that he is injury prone and that he doesn't play very well through 3.5 quarters of football. Yes, he has that gene, that little bit of a oomph in the fourth quarter type games where he can maybe possibly bring back the Steelers for a win. But you don't want to have to play that football all the time. You want to have a guy that's going to be able to be consistent throughout 3.5, 4 quarters. You want to have that guy. Everybody's going to make mistakes, and Kenny Pickett will be no different like Mason Rudolph. He will make mistakes. He will throw interceptions. He will make bad decisions. Every quarterback in the league does that throughout the year. You're never going to find a perfect guy. Never. There will never be a perfect guy throughout the season. Everybody will do something that is a mistake, for sure. But if you have Mason Rudolph, you have Kenny Pickett, and you go out there and maybe get a late round guy, a mid round guy in the draft, or possibly bring somebody else in during free agency that is a quality veteran that can sit in that third spot, that is a safety valve if need be, a guy that can come in and contribute and keep this team on track if there are injuries, poor play ahead of him. So guys, I don't want everybody to get their hopes so fired up that you're going to get Mason Rudolph. And maybe you're not one of those people anyway, that you're not really fired up about bringing a guy in that was the third string backup quarterback to start last season in 2023. But Mason Rudolph does have a chance to go out there and play in the free agency market. And I don't want you to keep playing into all these reports. There's tons of them. And I just wanted to clear it up here really, really well. There is probably a 50-50 chance this happens. And if you're asking me, and if you're asking a lot of other people, Mason Rudolph's best chance to start is probably with the Steelers due to Kenny Pickett's injury history, due to his poor play, due to Mason being familiar with the building. So those variables will come into play, I'm sure, in Mason's decision. But he's going to have to make the most money that he possibly can and have the best chance of starting. So he's going to have to weigh those two variables and add them together and see what his best option may be. But I want to clear it up to say there is a 50-50 chance, and I just want everybody, let's sit tight and wait closer to free agency, because the Steelers may put a deal in place and leave it on the table once that legal tampering period starts and says, hey, Mason, this is our best offer for you right off the bat. Take it or leave it. Let us know immediately if you can, so we can figure out some other options, so we can maybe move on if you're not going to be interested. And I think that's exactly how it's going to go. So I think we should just leave these rumors how they are now, unless some major earth-shattering news comes out that Mason Rudolph's maybe eyeing somewhere else. But I think right now, let's just leave this alone. Wait for March. That free agency period is not far away here, guys. Just a little bit, couple weeks, few weeks, however many days. I think it's like March 15th, March 16th, something like that. But it's in March that they're going to be able to get this free agency period cranking up. That draft starts in April, so there has to be that gap in between. So once this free agency period is wrapped up, you're going to see whether Mason Rudolph is that guy or not, and you're going to see exactly what the Pittsburgh Steelers' plans are. We can eliminate a lot of other things. The Justin Fields things won't happen. He has that video that I put out, and he says he's going home, and home isn't Chicago. Home isn't Pittsburgh. Home isn't any other place. It is in Georgia. That's where he's from. That's home. So if a guy's screaming, let's go home, I'm ready to go home, that's where he's talking about, home. And I think if he does mean Chicago, then okay, that's it. But I think you can take that completely off the table for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also, I think you can take off the table any expensive quarterback option in the free agency market. I think you can wipe that slate completely clean. Now, the only other one that I think could be even a possibility, because maybe it makes sense financially if certain things happen in certain ways, and that would be Russell Wilson. And that would only be because the Steelers could get him cheap on a 1 year, that's it, and not be responsible for any type of inflated salary in year 2 if he does return. Maybe that would happen for Russ to come on, but I'm going to guarantee this. If you bring in Russell Wilson, he will be a starter, hands down, 1,000%. There won't be any competition. It'll be Russell Wilson, and that's it, and Kenny Pickett will be the backup, and Mason Rudolph will not be re-signed to this roster, at least not in my eyes, because I don't think Mason would want to come back with a guy like Russell Wilson and Kenny Pickett both being on the roster. I think that buries him right back down into the third spot, and I think that's not where he wants to be. I think he's a guy that wants to compete. So that's where we sit with this quarterback situation. There's very few options remaining as we near closer to free agency, and things are starting to narrow. The road's starting to narrow. So I want you guys to really just let this play out now. Let's just kind of push it under a rug a little bit. We can still have conversation about it, but I think that that's where we sit currently right now. It's a 50-50 chance, and it's going to be a quick transaction if the Pittsburgh Steelers do bring Mason Rudolph back. And I truly believe they've already kind of had a little bit of discussion maybe to where that might not be legal, but I think Mason knows exactly where he stands with the Steelers and what they want to do in terms of bringing him back in free agency. I think he's well aware of exactly what they want to do, and I think the Steelers exactly know what they want to do right now, especially since we are so close to free agency. Let's talk about those report cards that came out. Basically, it was a survey that was handed out by the NFL Players Association to NFL players to give them insight on who has the best facilities, coaching, all those types of things. But it was very vague in some instances. I don't agree with the Pittsburgh Steelers and their family type environment thing. I think they should emphasize maybe making that a lot better. But guys, these are surveys. If a guy gets pissed, he's going to go out there and throw out any answer just because he's pissed. So you don't know how these all average out. And I don't think that we should put a ton of stock into it. We talked about it last night on the live show, Sean and I. We really dove into it a little bit. And we're kicking around everything. We didn't say anything was definitive on what we thought. We were just kicking around ideas on what it really truly meant. And I don't really think, after having the night to think about it and now filming this show, I really think that we should not put a ton of stock into that. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are a solid franchise. I think they do have good facilities. I think the Steelers do take care of their players as much as possible. I think they're about par across the board with everybody else. Yeah, there's some places that have some super nice facilities, but they're brand new, they're state of the art, and the Steelers will eventually have that too, as they have to upgrade eventually. So I don't think we should put a lot of stock into it. Art Rooney getting that F grade, being the second worst owner in the NFL, according to the survey. Maybe players don't get along with him as well. I don't know. But I think maybe Art Rooney might look at that and say maybe he makes a better family environment. Maybe he emphasizes that more and gets back to that Steeler way of being a family-based organization. Maybe that's the only thing good that comes out of it, or the only thing different that comes out of it. But let's not put a ton of stock into it. I don't think it's earth-shattering news. I don't think it's going to be anything that really hinders the Steelers moving forward in any way, shape, or form. I just think it's just something that we shouldn't put a ton of stock into. It was only the second time they've ever done it. They're still probably working out bugs with the survey anyway. So let's just kind of sweep that under the rug also and kind of just take it for what it is, a survey. And we all know how we all take surveys, especially if we're pissed off at the company or the organization in which we're taking a survey to rank. And how can you rank other teams and other things like that if you're another player and you haven't been to those facilities, or you don't even play for that team, you've only played for maybe just the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it's hard to kind of rank every other team. You don't really know what goes on inside their building. So let's not put a ton of stock into it. Also, let's talk about Billy Hillgrove, a guy that has been a Pittsburgh sports media legend in my eyes. Billy Hillgrove retiring from broadcasting, a guy that really has meant a lot to the Pittsburgh Steelers sports landscape in several sports, and he's been everywhere in Pittsburgh. And I want to congratulate Billy Hillgrove on a monster career, one of the best. You enjoy listening to a guy like Billy Hillgrove on that radio. When you heard him say some of the things that he said, just the way he used his voice to really paint a picture of what was going on that field, on that court, it was just something special by Billy. And we all have to applaud such an amazing career, a guy that has dealt with all the ups and downs of the Pittsburgh sports landscape and has handled it like a consummate professional, a guy that has just really done super well for himself and have really added something special to us, the viewer of the Pittsburgh sporting events. And man, you just hear Billy Hillgrove on there starting out in 1994, I believe. Don't hold me to that, but I believe it was 1994, starting out with the late great Myron Cope, the inventor of the terrible tie. But Billy and Myron together, that was pure magic. And Billy just being around forever. I can't say enough about how much I've enjoyed listening to Bill Hillgrove over the years as a fan of Pittsburgh sports. And I just want you all to really just take a moment today and say a thank you in the comments to Billy Hillgrove. Maybe you'll see him when he watches videos or something. You never know. But let's all congratulate Billy Hillgrove on a monster career and one of the best ever to do it at the sports broadcasting position in the city of Pittsburgh. All right, guys, let's wrap that up. We talked about Billy Hillgrove retiring. We talked about the report card and maybe not putting so much stock into it. And then we talked about Mason Rudolph and his possible return and why we just shouldn't put so much stock into all these rumors flying around. It's a 50-50 chance. Mason's going to play the field. He earned the ability to play that free agency field. So we all need to just sit back and wait and watch how this free agency period plays out and how Mason ends up making his decision. And again, guys, I want you all to know that I'm pretty damn confident that the Pittsburgh Steelers have already let Mason know where they stand, and he kind of knows what he is going to be able to do. And I think there will be an offer made early and quickly in free agency, like right during that tampering period, that legal tampering period, to where Mason will have the available information, the Steelers' best offer on the table. And I don't think there will be much negotiations, because I think the Steelers will come at him with their best offer to get him on the roster, and then maybe you'll see a quality competition. Or they could go maybe elsewhere and get a cheap rental 1 year type veteran quarterback and see how that goes. But there will be additions to the quarterback room in free agency for sure, guaranteed 1,000%, but we just got to see how it plays out. So, guys, join us tonight for our live show as we keep on trucking with our Thursday edition here on Mic Drop Sports, the live show. Come and have fun again like we did last night. It was an absolute blast. We had 3,000 views or something like that throughout the course of the live stream. Damn near anyway. It was like 2,900. Our most is almost 5,000, 4,600 or 4,700, something like that. So let's break that record tonight. Let's get up to about 5,000, 6,000 some area. Again, we hit the 2,000 subscriber mark. That's super awesome. Man, has it been a long road, a lot of hard work, and without you guys, it would not have happened. I'm going to try to work on some guests as you guys have been requesting. We'll see. Maybe even tonight. You never know. I've been working on it. I'm going to try my best to see when somebody can come on to help us. We also have Sean that joins us, but he's a regular mainstay here on the channel. So I'm talking guys like outside the channel. Sean's here to stay whether he likes it or not. He's now in Mic Drop jail. He's here. He's locked up forever. So Sean's our regular guy, and he'll always be that regular guy. Well, at least as long as he wants to be. But still, we're going to work on maybe bringing some other guys in, maybe even Sean and I doing like a triple screen to where Sean and I can interview somebody, or, just have somebody join our conversations, or maybe I'll just have a conversation with somebody. We'll see how it plays out with Sean and his schedule and whoever else could come on. But there's exciting things going to happen here at the channel, and we're going to keep cranking out the content for you guys. But without your support, without you hitting the like button, without you sharing, without you subscribing, none of this goes. So go ahead, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, hit the like button for every video. That really, really helps us the most. I appreciate all the super chats, all the donations, things of that nature. There are ways to help our channel grow. In the bio section, there are links there. That's up to you. Also, super chats. We don't push that too hard. So, but anything is welcome. We appreciate you guys as we move forward to march through to grow this channel into something special. So now that we hit 2,000, our next goal is 5,000, and I want to hit that here rather soon, and I think we can do it. Let's just, because the channel picks up, there's times of the week we'll gain tons of subscribers, and then there's slow periods, but most of the days we gain at least 20, 30. That's what I feel like most days that we gain, guaranteed kind of deal. Especially if we do the live shows, that brings in a lot of subscribers. So we're going to keep doing those, and let's hit that 5,000 goal. Share the shit out of this. Spread it to your friends. Talk about the channel, and not because you're bragging that I'm some great thing, because I'm not. I just want, because of you guys and what we do in the chat and what we do on the live shows together. It's more about all of us than anything, and it's special to talk about the Steelers, talk about the NFL, have an outlet to voice your opinion, that people actually answer you back. That's the big thing. Here on Mike Drop Sports, we actually answer you. You don't just put comments in there and we don't answer it. Now, I'm not saying I answer everything because I can't. It's impossible. But a lot of comments get answered here. If I answer them, Sean answers them, somebody will answer them, usually 9 times out of 10. And then when you come onto the live show, we answer comments all the time. We try to make sure we get to every comment. Now, can we get to them all? Again, no. But we get to 90% of them probably. We do a really good job at making sure that we include you guys, especially you guys that have been loyal listeners since the beginning of this channel, way back, a long time ago. At least over a year ago that we started this YouTube journey. So let's keep on rolling, guys, and I just wanted to get that all out there. I know I've been a little bit long-winded here at the end of the video, but man, is it exciting and so humbling to have such a cool-ass community of people like you guys that watch these videos and that come and comment and join us for the live shows. It's so damn cool, man, and I never thought that we would ever get to this point. I thought it would be a place that we had like a couple hundred people or something eventually, and we just bullshitted. And now today it's kind of crazy. It's kind of wow. That's all I can say. So let's go get that 5,000, and then let's go get the big one that we have set for us. So let's go grab that 5,000 here in the next month or so and keep crushing this shit and keep on moving forward. So until next time, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace.